Sommer, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How
Awesome.
are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's great to be back in person.
Yes. I'm hoping that my voice holds up because I did go to the iconic after party last night. So
Did it get wild?
It got wild.
It
We
did.
left. Once people started getting in the water, we were like, okay, it's time
to go. We missed it. We missed the party. So you're one of the speakers here. Talk to us a little bit about your session and what you talked about.
So I had the pleasure of presenting with my friend Mavita Burris a session on community-centric fundraising and engaging your constituents through a lens of inclusion, diversity, equity, and access. We just really dropped some gems on, how important it is to engage your community around not just your fundraising efforts, but how nonprofits just need to be moving to a more community-centric model of being informed by their community needs instead of deciding for people what services or things they need.
So aside from just like the actual like funding, it's what type of programs are needed is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but we really focused our presentation on fundraising and what fundraisers could do to sort of bring in the community and be a little bit more community-centric.
Yeah.
So it's really just about uplifting the values and the needs and hopes and desires of the people in your community. And it's not about not being donor-centric, but about not being donor-centric at the expense of your community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just prioritizing and leading with that community need.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. There's a lot of conversation around like placing the donor as the hero.
Yeah.
And I've written quite a bit actually about, I actually don't like that.
No,
I
like it, please.
I actually think it's the beneficiaries of the work that are the heroes, the individuals overcoming the odds, stacked against them.
Yes.
And I hope that we can just get rid of that language because I just think it's just totally wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's where the fundraising world is moving. I've been doing this work for more than 20 years. So all of the literature, all of the data, anything you read that's sort of evidence-based is all based in donor-centric fundraising. But what it doesn't take into account is that there is no data on community-centric fundraising. So when you look at, which works better, it's easy to say, oh, well, this is the proven model, right?
Yeah.
That we know this works, but we have to try something else to see if it can work as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's people are becoming more and more comfortable with moving towards that model because, when you say out loud that organizations that are built for the benefit of the community are not informed by the community, it doesn't even make sense, right?
Yeah, totally. Have you been met with a lot of friction going down this path? Like, what are some of the challenges that you're overcoming?
Well, I think that before I got in my current role, I think that there was some friction, and I talked to fundraisers about it, and I even had internal friction myself, right, about moving 100% to this model because I felt like the donor world wasn't quite ready for the community-centric model, right? We've been doing something the same way for so long, and to expect that just because we're ready to change, the donors are ready, to me would be assumptive. So my sort of suggestion and how I've chosen to do this work is to always be continually thinking about how I can be more community-centric in all of my fundraising tactics. So it's not a flip the switch and now I'm community-centric. It's more of a baby step progression towards becoming more of a community-centric, and I think that's the way we can bring our donors along with it.
Got it. And as the VP of Development at the Pontiac Community Foundation, tell us a little bit about the foundation and the work that it's doing in Pontiac.
Thank you for asking that. The Pontiac Community Foundation is so special to me. We're only a 4-year-old organization. In fact, this May, we're turning 4.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And at the Pontiac Community Foundation, we really are just building a brighter future for the residents of Pontiac, Michigan. And we do that work through our 4 focus areas, which are neighborhood investment, economic vitality, civic engagement, and racial equity. For our neighborhood investment, we're looking at community development, but from a more neighborhood resident focused perspective. We want to do projects that immediately impact residents, right? We're staying away from downtown development, those things that don't immunity. So most of our grant making lies in the space of supporting small business owners. We have the Center for Pontiac Entrepreneurship, which serves as a hub of resources for small business owners, education programs, access to technical assistance, grant funding. And then we support Pontiac Nonprofits. We're a collaborative organization. We see supporting other nonprofits as part of our work. We want to see the whole community, be a better place.
Yeah.
So we do not only grant making to other nonprofits, but educational opportunities. Last year was the second year we did what we called the Pontiac Impact Challenge, which was a crowdfunding competition amongst nonprofits. So we didn't just launch the competition and ask them to participate. We gave them the tools to do a successful crowdfunding campaign. I did training sessions and I created all this material for them, like a toolkit, so it could be really turnkey for them. And because to me, it's about teaching them to fish, right? I want them to be successful and be able to, incorporate these tactics into their overall fundraising and just be more successful in general. So we also do civic engagement. In Pontiac, we're really looking to build leadership and build the leadership culture. So we're doing that by providing resources to our community members about, those who are running for different political offices, information about getting out the vote, all of those great things.
Yeah.
And then my most favorite focus area for us is racial equity, because many people don't know in our small little low-income community of Pontiac that our residents have a 20-year lower life expectancy than people who live just 3 miles away in the affluent suburban areas of Southeast Michigan. So we're really working to identify why this is the case and see what things we can implement or support to help rectify that and in turn improve quality of life for Pontiac residents.
Wow. Sounds like a very important mission.
Yes.
What inspired you to get involved with the foundation?
Well, I had the pleasure of being a founding board member for the Pontiac Community Foundation. Okay. Pontiac, Michigan is my home. I'm born and raised there. So for me to have sort of gone out in the world and gotten all this experience working for various large nonprofit organizations all over Southeast Michigan, it was like an honor and a privilege to be able to bring my skill set back home and uplift my own community through that work. So to me, it's absolute no-brainer.
Yeah.
I also do some nonprofit consulting. My business is No-Nonsense Fundraising, where I really focus on just trying to level the playing field with small nonprofits, because I've seen through my experience so much disparity, right, in resources and all types of things. So what's fortunate for me is that most of my clients are also Pontiac nonprofits. So I'm really in a privileged position to where in my day job, my side job, and even in my volunteer work, everything I do is in support of Pontiac.
Yeah, that's awesome. No-Nonsense Fundraising. Yeah. So what's the inspiration behind, what's the nonsense that we need to get rid of out of fundraising?
Oh my God. There's so much nonsense, right? There's so many things that muddy the waters. And for me, the nonsense is not focusing on individual donors. And I've noticed that that's the trend in most of the clients that I have. Most small nonprofits, most nonprofits that serve low-income communities, or nonprofits that are led by Black and brown leaders have a heavy reliance and dependence on foundation grants to fund their missions. But my experience in working with large, sustainable nonprofits is that 80% of their funding base is individual supporters. So my whole purpose of creating that consulting firm is to teach small nonprofits to engage individuals. So that's a lot of the work I do.
That's awesome. I prior to starting Funraise, I was in the nonprofit space for 12 years. I was a fundraiser. And in the early days I was one of the founders of an organization called Liberty North Korea, and we were heavily funded by one foundation. And we went back for our annual pitch to get the funding, and the foundation was like, hey, listen, like if you can show us a pathway for decreasing sort of our gift to 50% of your revenue, then we'll actually give more. Right? We'll double our gift. And it was the greatest gift they could have ever given us, because we went back and built out an individual donor program, and today it's like 90% of the organization's revenue.
Yes,
and
fantastic.
So I totally agree. I love your approach, and
I love that foundation's approach.
Yeah,
I may have to steal that.
because it pushed us to it became the most important thing for us to do. On the consulting side, and is there anything else on the fundraising? Like, do you get tactical with the organizations? Do you help develop fundraising programs?
Oh, yes. I help develop fundraising plans. Most of my clients are on sort of monthly retainer. I meet with them monthly. It's really about having an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Because I don't do fundraising for them. that would be foolish. I'm teaching them to fish,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But it's really more about holding them accountable, giving them a thought partner, helping them think through some things, because typically they have a lot of the things they need to be successful. They just haven't organized it or structured it or prioritized it right.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I have one client who was doing this email communication soliciting for support and was excluding their volunteers. And I was like, why would you not? I said, no, I'm all about not converting. I hate when people say, I'm trying to convert my volunteers to donors. But I'm like, it makes no sense that you're not asking them at all, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this light bulb goes off for them just for little things, So when I can just have a conversation and it helps them raise more money or just be more thoughtful about what they're doing, then it's a win for me.
That's awesome. I've been asking a lot of nonprofit professionals here, who've been in the industry for a decade plus. What are they excited about to see change in the industry over the next decade? Any thoughts around sort of things that you think just need to absolutely change?
I think we had some banter about it before we got started here today, and it's really, for me, the donor-centric model
approach,
needs to be
just
reimagined.
Just buried in the ground, right?
Yeah, and it's not because I don't want people to be donor-centric. You just have to look at that differently. And I think the way we say, the messages we put out, how we are sort of lifting up and putting the onus, or not the onus, but the spotlight on donors, I think is wrong. And for me, it's wrong because we need to be prioritizing communities, right? So it's not that we don't want the donors to support, or that their support is not important to us, but we need to be talking about it in a way that reflects the wholeness, the community of support that it takes to run these programs or to do different initiatives. And for me, this whole shift to a more of a community-centric model can help us stop perpetuating the injustices that nonprofits were created to eliminate these issues, right? Where when we look at them in these ways, a lot of times they're perpetuating the same systemic issues that we're trying to eliminate, right? So for me, the shift to community-centric fundraising takes the focus off the donor and puts the focus on your community. Yeah. And I think that's really where we need to shift in nonprofits to help be more successful.
I don't know when it happened, but we took gratitude, showing gratitude to donors, and instead, put them as the center of the story, and thinking that was showing gratitude, being thankful.
Because that's all we've been taught.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like anything that's printed or any book that anybody has wrote or all of the experts that we've sort of admired over the years, that's the model they teach. It's relationship-based, donor-centric fundraising. I love the relationship-based part of it, but to me it's about, and it's been working well for me and my organization, just having real, transparent conversations about the needs of my community. Yeah. In fact, it's led to unrestricted major gifts. Who would have thunk that? Yeah. Right? But that's because of the trust and because I'm being transparent and talking about the need. And when you do that, the donor is like, well, I want you to take this money and do what you need to do with it, right? So that's how to me, it's a part of building trust, and it's a necessary step we have to take.
Absolutely. I'd love to do a longer episode on this very topic, because I think we can go really deep on it and hopefully get more awareness.
I'd love to chat further.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to take too much more of your time, so we're going to go on to some rapid fire questions to end it. So, movies or series?
Series.
What's your? Are you currently binging or have a favorite series?
I think I watched all of Ozarks. I stalked the last of the 7 episodes. Yeah. And then I watched probably Bridgerton. In one sitting.
Bridgerton. yeah. Season 2. You watched season 2?
I watched both. Yeah. It didn't take me long to get through either one.
Severance. If you like Ozark, because Ozark's kind of dark and heavy.
God, I know, right?
Severance,
and then Bridgerton is
it helps balance it out a little bit, right? Oh, that's funny. Okay, tacos or cheeseburgers? Tacos. Do you have a preference of which protein?
Well, we do ground turkey at my house.
Okay.
We don't do a lot of ground beef, but tacos go over very, very well. We have to have them at least once a week.
At least on Tuesdays.
Yes.
Right? Beach or the mountains?
Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. No brainer.
Digital reading or an actual book?
An actual book.
Hardcover or soft cover?
Hardcover.
Hardcover, me too.
Right
Yeah.
now, I'm reading the Finding Me, Viola Davis.
How is it?
Yeah, I tried to read it on the plane. Tears were rolling down my face. I was like, I have to read this in private. I can't read this on the plane.
Oh, wow.
Her story is so touching.
Football or football?
Football.
Football. Okay.
Yes.
What's your team?
The Lions.
The Lions, yeah.
Even though they're the losers, but they're going to come back.
They're going to come back.
I'm still a super fan. I don't care how bad they are.
You go put a bet on them here. Maybe that'll help them out. All right, last one. Moana or Aladdin?
Aladdin.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original or the real, what is it? What's that called?
I don't know. I'd have to say the original.
Okay, the original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably haven't seen the other version.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Sommer, so much for joining us. I
Thank
appreciate it,
you.
and enjoy the rest of the conference, and good luck on your pitch.
Thank you. I appreciate this.